Welcome back to another episode of the Purpose Babe Show. I'm your host, Corie Clark. Thank you so much for tuning in again. This week is a special episode. I am really excited about it because I think it's really important as a brand, as a business owner, whatever it is that you do. I think it's so important that we actually learn how to step into our authority. Because if we're always just kind of tiptoeing and we're unsure of ourselves or what we have to offer, it's going to be really hard for other people to trust you. And so as we learn how to step into our authority, it helps build that trust. So tune in, enjoy the show. Make sure that you let me know what you get out of it, what you love about it. Tag me on Instagram and let me know what you think. Sometimes it's okay to let some things go. You know, you don't need to check your Instagram 24/7. You don't need to post in your groups day and night. Your people who follow you will live. The world will keep turning. And I just don't want to see you guys getting burnt out because you feel like you have to be in all the places at all the times. And it's funny because this episode is actually, we're talking about how we show up. Or not we, I am, but I'm talking with you. So we are talking about how we show up in our business. And I do think there's a time and a place for showing up big. And I do think there's a time and a place for, shifting your schedule or your workload depending on what you're working on at the time. And I know I've talked about it in previous episodes, and I actually do believe you can achieve work-life balance. I know that's not a very popular opinion, but it's not something that you achieve and you keep at the same state. It's very fluid. And so if you can be very aware of what you're doing and how you're feeling and what's going on in your work life and in your home life, you can make better decisions so that you don't end up burnt out. And so I'm actually a huge believer in work-life balance and just keeping that in mind, that you are in control of what you say yes and no to. So when you're feeling burnt out, it's your own decision. It's nobody else's fault. And I'm really excited to share today's thought with you guys. It's something that I actually really had like this big revelation. A few months ago, I was at a mastermind event, and one of the sessions we were challenged to really look at how we're showing up in our business and how to actually be a leader. How to be a leader in our area of expertise, how to be a leader just wherever we show up, whether it's in business or in life. And I was really challenged by that because I really started to ask myself, like, how am I showing up? When I go on social media, how am I showing up? When I email my list, how am I showing up? When I deliver my academy course to my students, how am I showing up? And I actually was not very happy with the way I was showing up, and realized that I was not showing up as a leader as much as I could have been. Of course, I was showing up as a leader to some extent. I mean, I was showing up. Like, there's a lot of people who don't even do that in the first place. And so I just want to ask you guys, as we start this off, I want you to just think for a second, like, how are you showing up when you go to work, or as a parent, or as a spouse, or as a friend? How are you showing up? But we're going to talk more about the business side of it. So if you're an entrepreneur, how are you showing up when you are on social media, when you do Facebook Lives, when you write a blog post, when you are writing your book, when you speak at an event, whatever it is you do to create income? Are you showing up as a leader? And what I realized was I When I was asked this question, I realized I was not fully showing up because I think there was some fear there. When I started my business like 5 years ago, everything like took off really fast, and it was easy to show up as a leader because I was looking at the result of the business, and that was giving me like the motivation and I don't know, I guess it was just giving me just like this extra layer of confidence. Like, look what you've done. Of course you're a leader. And so since I have pivoted and now I am helping other entrepreneurs, that has been like a slower growth, and it's more behind the scenes because a lot of the people that I work with are one-on-one. It's not like I have a shop showcasing everything I do where, with the planners, it's like you have this shop, the planners are selling out, people are, talking about it. So there's this like social proof and this evidence of it. And this has been a more behind the scenes growth where I'm helping people behind the scenes. And so I don't know if that's what it was. And I'm seriously just talking this through with you guys because it's made such a big impact the way I've shifted my thinking. So what I think, like, I haven't talked to a therapist about this or my business coach about this, but what I think was I didn't have this social proof evidence telling me, validating me, which is so ridiculous because the actual evidence, when I looked at the work I was doing, if I look at the work I'm doing with these students and with my coaching clients and in my VIP membership, when I look at that, like the evidence is like huge and amazing. But I guess at some point I just thought, oh, wow, I don't have this like crazy, huge social explosion of, success. So maybe I'm not really that successful, and maybe I should just hold myself back a little bit. And so that's really what I was doing. I was not necessarily not showing up as a leader. I was just holding back a little bit. And I realized it kind of made me sad. I was disappointed in myself. Like this is the opposite of what you teach people, because I help people like grow their confidence and start their businesses. And I believe in everybody else, but I realized I wasn't believing in myself to an extent. And so it was just this fear and almost like this imposter syndrome since the other part of the business had taken off so fast and people could see it. It was like, yeah, oh, I am good at this. And, I was never scared to show up as a leader or as an authority in that area of my business. But this side of my business, I definitely had like imposter syndrome. I felt like, well, there's other people doing it better, so why would I do this? And anyways, I literally just decided in my head. I did not go through any sort of exercises or anything. So I'm telling you guys this because I know you can do the same thing. And I just told myself that I have to show up as a leader and as an authority. And why do I need to do that? Because people need me. The people who follow me are looking to me to be an authority. They're looking for a leader. And if I don't show up as a leader or an authority when I do a social media post, when I do an IG live, when I do a Facebook live, whatever it may be, if I don't show up as an authority, they're going to look somewhere else because they need a leader. People need a leader. And so I want you to think about that for a minute. Think about the people that you follow and look up to. And think about how they're showing up, how they show up every day on social media, how they show up in their business, how they run their business, the conversations they have with people, the things they're doing on a daily basis. Are they taking care of their health? Are they taking care of their family? Are they taking responsibility for their business and their actions? Probably. Because you probably wouldn't be following someone who was just, halfway showing up, because those people are not enjoyable to follow. The people I follow, either they're a friend or they're a leader. I really don't have anything in between. And so I want you guys to think about that in every single thing you do, like tackling your to-do list, writing a blog post, writing an Instagram caption. Why are you doing it? What's the reason behind it? And how can you lead people by doing that? Because if your audience and your customers don't get it from you, they're going to get it from someone else. And so the biggest shift has been in, for instance, let me just give you like a tangible, like actual evidence of it, because I know everybody goes through this. When you do a Facebook Live or an Instagram Live and you see how many people are watching, what do? If you see only a few people watching, does that change the way you deliver the information that you're sending to those people? Because it certainly was doing that to me. I'm just being real with you guys. I am not a huge fan of doing Facebook Lives, Instagram Lives. I'm working on it, but I'm not a big fan of it. But that was one of the things I realized when I started practicing this. Show up as a leader. How would a leader do this? When I started practicing this, I no longer was looking at that number. In fact, I would ask myself before the live, how would I talk right now if there was 1,000 people watching this live video? How would I talk if there was 5,000 people watching this video? Because it's probably very different than how I would talk if there was only one. And that's actually really sad, because if I was talking to one person right standing in front of me, of course I would be excited and passionate about what I was sharing with them. But there's just something that happens in our minds when we see that low number and we start to get nervous and panic and like, oh my gosh, no one's watching. What do I do? Maybe, I look like an idiot. I should get off. And so that was one thing that I did. And another thing I did is going back, I showed up and said, I will talk like I'm talking to 1,000 people. And you know what? I'd never even looked at the number of people that were on because I didn't care anymore. That wasn't why I was doing it. My goal for delivering those live videos were to show up and to serve and to be a leader. And those are the only things I can control. I cannot control how many people even see the notification that I'm going live. And then I can't control the number of people who see the notification and decide, okay, yeah, I'll watch this. I have no control over that. The only thing I have control over is how I show up. And so I chose to show up as a leader, to serve and to deliver my message as a leader. And then I did the same thing the last time I launched. I actually did not even set a number goal. And I'm like a huge goal fan. I still will set goals in the future, but I wanted to test this. I wanted to see how a launch would go if I had absolutely no attachment. And usually if I set a number goal or a revenue goal or a number of enrollments, I get attached to something. So I never even wrote down a number for what I wanted to do. My goal was show up, serve, make the offer. And that was it. And it was truly the easiest launch I've ever done. It was so stress-free. I was so happy the whole entire time. And I'm usually stressed because I look at the number and then I look at stats and I look at page views and I start to tweak things and wonder what's wrong. There was nothing wrong. I didn't have to worry about it because I had done what I made the promise to myself that I was going to do. And that was to show up and to serve. And I did it. And it was the best, most easy, carefree launch I've ever done. So if you are getting ready to launch a product or launch a service or anything like that, I want to challenge you to, if you want to set number goals, awesome, set number goals. But it's really hard to detach yourself from the outcome and what it means to you. And so I really want to challenge you to set a goal of showing up as a leader, delivering as a leader, being excited, serving as if you're serving 1,000, or serving 10,000 or however many followers you have. Show up as a leader and just watch what will happen, because you will see people responding to you in a whole new way. If you start showing up on Instagram Live and just serving your audience with authority, if you start showing up on Facebook Live and serving your audience with authority, if you start emailing and whatever it is you do to communicate and to market, if you're showing up as a leader and as an authority, I promise you, your results, you're going to see a difference in your results. You're going to see a difference in the response from your audience. You're going to see a difference in how you guys communicate with each other. And I want you guys to do that in other areas of your business. How are you showing up in your business? If you had the dream business that you want, so whatever that is that you want right now, do you want $1 million business? Do you want a $10 million business? Are you doing the things today in your business that a CEO of $1 million or $10 million company would be doing? Like, really ask yourself that. Are your activities the activities that one of those CEOs would have? Because if they're not, then you need to change your activities. You need to start showing up in your life every single day as a leader and asking yourself those questions like consistently. So this is not something that I'm, I've got this perfected and I'm perfect at this. No way. I promise you guys, I ask myself several times a day, am I showing up as a leader? Is this what a leader would do? Is this what someone with authority would do? Because if not, then I need to not do it. And it will actually help you make some really good decisions in your business too, and in your life. Because if you really want to show up as a leader and authority in your life, and you start questioning those things, you're going to start filtering out the things that don't matter. It's going to help you make better decisions. So that was really all I wanted to share with you guys today, because it's truly, truly like changed what I do every day in my business. And it's honestly changed like my feelings about my business, about the things I'm doing. And I'll tell you what fuels me is doing this podcast, serving my members in my VIP lounge, and teaching my students in my academy. Those are my most favorite things to do. They're the easiest way for me to serve my audience. I get the most joy out of it. And my attachment is not to a number of students. It's not to a number of dollars. It's to showing up and helping those people make a transformation. Like, not just inspiring them to, chase their dreams, but actually inspiring them to take action and see a transformation. And that's what we saw. That's what I've seen with my last class. The transformations were astounding. And I was like, oh my gosh, why would I ever set a number goal when I can see what's happening in these ladies' lives? So, not to say I will never set a number goal. Of course I will. Numbers are so important. And looking at your numbers from previous launches and, sales and promotions so that you know what your conversion rates and that kind of stuff. Yes, that's so important. But if you're too attached to that, I promise you are going to be miserable. So my challenge for you is to start showing up as a leader. Ask yourself those hard questions. It's okay. It's okay if you're not right now. This is not about shame on you. I was literally bummed a few months ago when I was like, oh, wow, I haven't been showing up as a leader. Not as a leader as I want to be. So this is purely to encourage you guys and to help you get your mindset shifted and really start showing up in your business the way you want to. Because I know that's what you guys want. You don't want to be some halfway leader. You want to be a leader in authority, or you want to be in your business, right? Thanks so much for listening, you guys. Have an amazing week, and I will see you here next week on The Purpose Babe Show. Be sure to subscribe, rate, and leave a review on iTunes, and follow me on Instagram. Let me know what you liked about this episode. And if you haven't yet, I would love to see you inside our free community. So we have a free community for our podcast listeners. If you go to CorieClark.com/community, you can find all the information on how to join and meet other purpose-driven women who are listening to the show as well. And I will see you guys in the group.